Good afternoon, everybody. I believe we already have Coach Riley. Coach, do we have you there?
Yes, you do.
Coach, thank you. First, we just got to read a quick commercial, and then we'll get right into the interview.
Okay, this segment of 40 Sports Talk is made possible by the generous support of Diesel Direct. Diesel Direct, the national fuel resource in 46 states, boosts a fleet of over 900 fuel delivery trucks. 4 Deep Sports Talk would like to congratulate Diesel Direct on its 25th year anniversary. Thank you, Diesel Direct, for your unwavering support, helping us provide a platform for high school and youth athletes in southeastern Massachusetts.
Very good. All right, for everyone listening, we have the distinct pleasure of having the new head coach over at Abington High School, Ed Riley. Coach, for our listeners and viewers that don't know, I mean, everyone knows about Greenway football, but could you just tell our listeners a little bit of your football experience, coaching, stuff like that, so they can get to know you?
Sure. Well, I graduated from Abington High School, played for Coach Kelleher way back in the day, attended Holy Cross, and then went on to come back to Abington and initially was a freshman coach and then joined the varsity staff in 2001. So I've been coaching with Coach Kelleher on his staff for about 22 years, I guess.
Nice. Did you play college ball at all?
I played at Holy Cross for a year.
Nice.
And then my lack of talent kind of took over.
Oh, jeez. Hey, you know what? He's an honest guy. That's where they're going to go for. That's funny. So, Coach, we have a couple. An intern from Taunton High. He's running the board right now. Great kid. Matt Clayman, and then Justin Ferrer will they'll introduce themselves as they ask you the questions. But first of all, I want to thank you for finally setting this up. I appreciate you taking the time on the Saturday.
Not a problem. Thank you for doing all what you guys do for high school football.
You got it. So whoever wants to go.
Okay, you want me to go first? All right. Hi, Riley. This is Justin Ferrer, and my first question for you is, does your son still play football?
Actually, I have three sons. My oldest son is a sophomore at Clemson right now. He did play for me. He graduated 2 years ago, and then my middle son, Michael, is our junior quarterback, and then my youngest son, Jack, is a freshman.
Clemson? Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
Wow.
Coach, how does that get set up? Before we dive in, I usually try to play off the guys' questions because God knows it automatically dives into another question once you give us it. Whoever gives us the answer. How did that Clemson thing work out? How does that all go about?
You know, he worked really hard, high school and prior years, and had the grades. And, he kind of a weird story, but he has a twin sister, and his twin sister always knew that she wanted to go further away, get away from New England, and she ended up at Elon in North Carolina. And
oh, wow.
She actually visited Clemson, and she sent my son Eddie a message or FaceTimed him and said, "You need to apply here. You'll love it." So he actually just threw in an application, sight unseen, and then when he got in, we took a trip down there, and he said, "This is where I want to go." And I said, "Great, that's where I want you to go too."
Yeah, right, actually. That's funny. So is he playing any sports down there for Clemson?
No, it's just intramurals. He does the intramural, flag football and wiffle ball and some other things. He's having the time of his life, though, so he's happy. That's all I care about.
That's right. And he's getting, what's his major? Do you know what his major? What he wants to do for a major?
Finance.
Oh, fine. The smart guy wants to make some money. Good for him. And how about your daughter?
So she's at Elon. She's also on the business track as well.
Yeah.
But she loves it over there as well. I mean, it's two completely different colleges. Elon's a lot smaller, kind of more of a country club feel, where, Clemson is a lot bigger. We've been down to a couple games already, and, 85,000 people, and it's a different vibe, but it's just both colleges are perfect for each kid, so they're both loving it. So my wife and I couldn't be happier.
That's great. I think that when I was down there, station, I was in the service for 10 years. When I was down there in that area, and you just, even like Old Dominion, you go to those stadiums, it's like night and day because we're so pampered up here with four major sports, and no one really appreciates Boston College anymore or some of the other colleges. You know what I mean? That type of atmosphere. Then you go down there, and like you just said, Coach, the atmosphere alone, 85,000 people. They just love their schools.
Yes, it's definitely a different world down there. They certainly like their football.
Right. All right, guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? Matt Clayman here from Taunton High School. I was going to start with what are some of the most important things you learned from Jim Kelleher, and how will you kind of apply that to your coaching?
Good question, Matt. It's funny. I've learned so much from him. So much of it really, yes, I've learned a lot of football from him, X's and O's, but it's the other stuff, building relationships with the kids, treating them right, but also, teaching them what's right and wrong. They're still kids, and, they're going to make mistakes, and, just to basically, think about things outside of football sometimes, and he just had a great way of building relationships with the kids, being there for the kids when they needed them, always supporting them, not just in football. Like, Coach Kell he's the type of guy that shows up at the basketball games or the school plays or honor society inductions. He's always there for the kids, and that's something I'll always remember about him.
Great.
Yeah.
What do you got, old man?
I got, what's the hardest part of the new position?
Well, that's another great question. So right now, I probably don't even know. I'm sure the hardest part is going to be facing me over these next few months and going into the season. Basically now I'm going to be in charge of the practice plans and, working with the other assistant coaches and working with the freshman coaches and just kind of making sure our staff is still, on the right path, which I know it will be because we've all been together for so long. And then, also, you have more responsibilities as a head coach, whether it's doing radio interviews or helping kids with college or, dealing with, the administration at the school. So I know it's a lot. And, I know I have a lot of good friends that are coaches, and whether it's football or other sports. So I'm sure I'm going to be calling on them for advice as well.
So sometimes, Coach, I don't know if Abington, they probably went through this crap. A lot of the teams that you guys beat up on the South Shore League, they always complain, or not just the schools in the South Shore League, but the teams that, like, everyone knows Abington football is probably one of the most consistent teams as far as wins and losses, going to the playoffs, and you know where I'm going. I hope you know where I'm going with this. Sometimes the opposing schools worry about GPAs. Are they really keeping the GPAs? Are they really doing a good job to stay in this team? And I think the days of those people worrying about that are over, because that's pretty well policed, correct?
Oh yeah, and I'm glad you asked that, because that's literally one of the major things that that we stress to our kids. School is always first. They always know that they can go get extra help. We have days where we'll start practice later so they can go get extra help. But I'll give you a good little stat. Was actually 2 years ago, we had a team that lost in the state finals. Actually, it was my son Eddie's senior season. And we had 16 seniors on that team. I believe 10 of them were on National Honor Society.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and that's something, as I think I said to the kids at the end of the year banquet, that's probably one of my, most important stats I've ever read to the crowd was, how good of kids they are, but what great students they are, and plus they performed on the field. So, and it's not even that year. I just remember that stat. But, this past year, the senior class, we probably had 4 or 5 kids that were same thing on National Honor Society. So it's something that we certainly stress, and I think, we get a lot of support from our administration, and we really work as a team, with our principal, vice principal, athletic director. We have a great line of communication, and it just, it's really important for sure.
Excellent. Whenever you're ready, sir.
I'll head next. So, I was going to ask, how does you mentioned you played before, obviously, but how does your perspective change going from a player to a coach in the football sense? And I guess just how do you think that experience? How much do you think the experience you had playing helps when relating and coaching these kids?
I think it helps for sure. And I see it now where I have been, coaching all these kids that have gone on to college, and they come back, and sometimes, they want to help out, which we have a bunch of guys that come back and help out. One thing that you always, when you get out of college, you think that you know it all. You're like, oh, I can do this. I know these drills, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's great. I always want to learn. And sometimes you have to temper it down to say, okay, don't forget when you were in college, when you were an offensive lineman, that's all you did in practice for 2 hours. Well, we have to do that same offensive lineman plays defensive line and also plays special teams for us. So they're we can't get as complicated as the college guys do. So that's something that, I learned over the years. But also playing in college, one of the things I realized is how difficult it is and really how important it is to do, the off-season lifting and conditioning and things like that. And I remember coming out of college and then coming back to Abington, that's one of the first things that I really stressed was let's get the weight room going, because we never really had that even when I was in high school. And I don't think it was really prevalent like around the high school scene. And I think that's probably, I'm going to point to one of the main reasons why we started having success early was because we got the kids in the weight room. We had a group of kids early on that bought into it, and then we started winning, and then, the kids growing up behind them bought into it, and the next thing you know, we just kind of kept the cycle going, and but that's certainly something I learned from college was, the importance of preparation, being in shape, getting ready for the season, and certainly learned some X's and O's along the way, and I'm still learning things, and I love talking to the kids that go on to college and they come back and picking their brains, or and it's great to see their excitement, so.
All right, Coach, we're going to take our first break. We can still hold on to you, correct?
Sure. Yep.
All right, we're going to go to our first break. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online off our website, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We have the new skipper in charge of Abington football, Ed Riley. We'll be back with him and more right after this.
Hey, welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at the news station. We are highlighting the new Abington football coach, Ed Riley. Are you still with us?
I am.
Okay, my next question is, what's the hardest non-football challenge that happens off-field?
Another great question. I mean, there's a lot of challenges I'm going to be facing. I think a lot of it is just going to be is the preparation part of it and getting the kids excited and like letting them understand that they got to, work hard and get to the weight room and things like that when it's not in the season where I don't see them every day. But also as a staff, starting to prepare, starting to talk about different things we want to do. I'm sure, we've been together for a long time, as I said, but I'm sure there's going to be things that we're going to tweak a little bit, whether it's, practice time or practice, scheduling. So I've been thinking a lot about that over the last, few weeks. And plus we kind of just finalized our schedule for next year too, our game schedule. So I've been kind of working on that as well.
So excuse me, I'm thinking too fast again. I apologize. So I'm thinking of spaghetti night. If you guys ever need a hand with spaghetti night, I'm free. I don't mind helping out with spaghetti night if you have that.
Volunteer for that one. Yeah.
So what do you guys have those type of things? I coached over at the tech school at Bristol Plymouth for 10 years, and they used to do a spaghetti night, before the games. Thursday if it's a Friday game, that type of deal. Friday if it's a Saturday game. Do you guys do anything like that to build camaraderie with the guys?
Yeah, we do, and truthfully it's the mothers that do it.
Yeah.
And we're very, very lucky in this town that we have a lot of support. not only from the parents, but also from the town in general. But I think it's like every Thursday night, if we have a Friday night game, there is a pasta party at someone's house. They usually bop it around to a different house every week. But,
Nice.
Usually everyone comes over and donates some food or some waters or what have you. And it is, as you just said, I think building up that chemistry, that camaraderie. I think that's one of the biggest things you can do for any team.
Right, and then I think it also gives you a chance to, in my opinion, what I saw is you get a chance to feel the kids out. Is he actually a good kid off the field? Is he a punk causing trouble? You know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but it can be true to a point.
That's totally true. And one of the other things I do in Abington is I actually run a flag football league.
Oh, nice.
And it's in the spring. And what I do is the high school kids are my coaches and the refs. So we don't have any really parent involvement at all other than the kindergarten division. And it's actually a great way for me, as you just said, that example is to see the kids in a different atmosphere, to see how they can, deal with the young kids. And it's really, really opened my eyes a lot to a lot of different things. And I think it's actually made me a better coach and a more compassionate person because, there might be a kid that's, been on my team for a couple of years, and maybe I think, is this kid going down the wrong path? And then I see how he deals with, first graders, and I see the smiles on his face, and I said, and sometimes it's opened my eyes, and, it's been helpful.
Now, is this sponsored through the NFL? Because they do a lot of that flag football stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that's even better. Kids get really cool shirts. Now, are you paying are you paying those officials to do the games?
Yeah, so
they should be smiling, coach.
They have to.
That's right, I'm paying them. Yeah.
They have to coach. They volunteer to coach.
Yeah.
They all if they volunteer to coach a team, they get to ref a game, and they get paid $20 to ref a game.
How can you beat that? Really,
that's
doing something that you love, right?
Yep. And the kids, literally, the kids have more fun. The high school kids sometimes than I feel like anyone else. But it's really a great community event because. The parents at first, I'm sure some of the newer parents are a little bit like, what do you mean a parent's not coaching my kid? What do you mean this high school kid is? But as the season goes along, I think they realize when they see the high school kids running up and down the field, high-fiving with their second grade kid, and, they start to build that relationship. It's really, really nice to see.
That's awesome.
So I know we talked about, we just talked about the kids on the team and doing things outside the field, and I just kind of wanted to ask, we talked with the Marshfield Hurricanes before, and I kind of asked the same question, but I was just curious. So how much do you weigh things like intangibles and the things we talked about off the field, character versus talent when picking players?
It all comes into play. One of our rules in Abington anyways is that, if two kids are vying for the same position, and let's just say that it's equal, we'll give the nod to the kid that's been coming to the weight room.
Yep.
So that's how we've been doing things, and that's how we'll continue to do things, is that if that kid has really worked his butt off for us all off season and done the right things, meaning that he's, being a good kid in school, working hard with his grades, we're going to give that kid the benefit of the doubt every time.
That's really cool.
That's not to say that, it's not to say the other kid won't play or can't earn that job, and we'll have that conversation with him to say, listen, this is the situation is that, you both are good players, but he's done a little bit more for us. So, and oftentimes by doing that, it kind of pushes that kid to say, okay, I got to straighten out my act a little bit.
That's a good idea.
Incentive, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a great idea. See the kids, see who really is going to compete and want to earn that position. Then you get a situation, Coach, you've probably seen this 1,000 times, where you got two kids doing the right thing, and BC High is a big example. Well, was it BC? Yeah, BC a long time ago. They had a quarterback that threw, and they had a quarterback that ran the option. And next you know, the kid that threw, he was running the option. And the kid that was running the option was throwing the ball. So have you ever seen that where you've had two kids, they would just cycle off where it's hypothetically, say, tight end, and they know so many plays, he plays so many, because they're doing what they need to do. They hit the weight room, they got good grades, like we just talked about. Have you ever, guys, you must have run into that at some time, no?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You want to get as many kids involved as possible, too. And I think, our other theory is the more kids that play, they're going to practice that much harder. So if we have 11 kids going both ways, you're not going to have a good practice because, the kids that are maybe second string or whatever, if they don't think they're going to sniff the field, sometimes they just go through the motions for you. So
Yeah.
we're always pushing the kids to get better. And like one of the things we do, what we try and do is like offensive line, we want to have 3 tackles and 3 guards, and we want to rotate them in at a minimum. If we have 4, that's even better.
Right.
But we want to know that there's always someone pushing somebody, and and we'll move kids around too, because we're a smaller town. We'll have in the 30s probably in our varsity program, so we have to build depth sometimes through having kids play multiple positions. And that's another way. That's something else that how we look at kids is like sometimes we'll go up to a kid and say, hey, you might be a fullback, but I'm going to need you at guard. And if he says, well, I want to stay at fullback, we'll be like, okay. But that tells us he may not be a team guy all the time,
Right.
So, in over the years, we've had so many guys that have been, a fullback, just as an example, and then we've turned him into a guard. But his senior year, he goes back to fullback, and
Yeah.
that's just one of those positions. You feel like those are those tough bowling ball type kids. You feel like a guard and a fullback can be either one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's funny. He's like, I totally agree to that.
All right. I also have. Do you believe in good luck charms?
I definitely, to a degree, I would say yes. Not a lot. I'm not that superstitious. I do certain things. Sometimes I feel like I have a certain routine, but I don't think I'm crazy about it. But maybe my wife does sometimes. I don't know. But
That's funny.
but I do see some of the kids sometimes have their certain superstitions, which I think it's funny, like what time they have to get there. They go down the field, without the pads on, and they come, which is great. I to each his own. I always say to them, like, don't, make sure it just doesn't take over your mind, So.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big difference. I'm going to ask, sorry, I was just, okay. I know you've had the chance to coach your sons these past few years. I think that's awesome, by the way. But just what is that experience like, getting the opportunity to do that?
It's really been awesome. It's something I think I'll appreciate a lot more as I get older and they're gone, probably. But it's one of those things I think I really need to, I need to do truthfully a better job of, enjoying the moment with them, because, to having that opportunity, it's great, and I asked all my kids every single time. I said, guys, if you guys don't want me to coach, especially with my oldest son, Eddie, because he was the first one going through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him when he was a freshman, I said, listen, this is a hobby for me. This is something I enjoy doing, but it's much more important to me that you enjoy your high school experience. So if you want me to stop coaching, I will stop coaching today. And his response was, let me think about it, So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I think as the year went on, as he went through his freshman year, I think he realized, that I had the relationships for the kids that, yes, I can be tough on them, but I think he knows that he realized that my heart was in the right place. And I think, he knew that the kids, weren't out to kill me, and I don't think he wanted to see that, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Coach, unfortunately, we fell in the first round of Stoneham, ranked number 15.
yeah.
Were we hurt? Is that why we didn't have did we have the good enough numbers going into that Sweet 16?
No, I'm not going to really put any excuses on it. Stoneham it's a good program. They play in the Middlesex League. I don't think, they started off slow and then they won 5 straight games. And they play that double wing offense. Yeah. And, at the time, they just came downhill and, there was a big turnover call that went against us that, watching the film shouldn't have went against us. That was a big swinger because we were going in to score in the third quarter that would have put us up. Instead, the fumble went their way, and then they went down and scored. And then, we drove at the end and had a ball thrown in the end zone to tie the game, and it got knocked away. So it was a great game. It was really, really a great high school game. I do believe that it was just one of those things. It was just a tough matchup, but I also believe if we got by them, I think we could have made a run at it. Because you know how it is. Like you get to the playoffs, you don't know who you got, but sometimes there's just certain matchups that you're better at. And I thought for us, it's just their style of play was not a great matchup for us defensively because they came. One of the things they did well, we didn't do well stopping. We didn't really do well all year stopping.
Now, was it that wedge blocking stuff? I know that everyone likes to run the wedge blocking, and you're in the, and then the deception. You got one wing back going one way, and then it could be a counter inside, and it's kind of tough for the ends to pick that up too.
Yeah, and they did a lot of the powers and the counters, and it was one of those things where we just, they came downhill on us off tackle, and we struggled a little bit with it, and and it was something that we kind of had struggled a little bit all year with. But I will say this: our kids played tough. We were in the game. It wasn't a situation where it was going to be a blowout or anything like that, and we had our chances. And I think you take that fumble call, which sometimes that goes against you, and that did that game. There's nothing we can do about it, and we got to learn and move on. But I'm proud of the one thing I'm really proud of my kids is like the next week we got to play in those stupid consolation games, and we picked up Pembroke, who's a couple divisions ahead of us. We wanted to challenge the kids, and they met the challenge, and that was probably one of the best games we played all year. And then, on Thanksgiving, the kids finished it off with a dominant performance for Coach Kell's last game. So it really was a great season overall. And I couldn't be prouder of the kids.
Awesome. Coach, we're going to take another break. Can we still hold on to you?
Sure.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to step away. We have Coach Ed Kelleher, new head football coach over at Abington High School. Ed Riley. I said Kelleher, didn't I? Coach, I apologize.
Wrong coach.
That's all right.
Well, we get him for what do they call it? Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll be back with Coach Riley right after this.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at the news station, 1320 AM Attleboro. Riley, my next question for you is, what's the hardest part of balancing schoolwork with football for the kids?
I think it's more of they just got to get into a routine, and understand like when, the fact that like we usually practice right after school, so it's one of those things where they got to understand like they got to come to practice, they got to do their job, and then they got to go home, get their schoolwork done, and and really put the time into it, really. And as I said before, when we talked about all the kids that we've had make the National Honor Society, it's something that the kids can do for sure, So it's just more of the kids have to get into their specific routine and make it work for them, and but it's also something that we try and work with them, and we certainly stress with it too.
Interesting. I'll go with my. Okay, so I was gonna say. So we talked about a little bit before the off season. being in the weight room and everything, and your role in that. So one thing the athletic director at Abington High School, Peter Serino, shout out to him, gave you high praise for was your hard work off the field and leading that off-season strength and conditioning program, helping design the fitness center, and you're creating good relationships with the players. So I guess just how much pride do you take in that part of it, helping the community and school, that area?
Actually, I take a lot of pride in that. That's one thing that I've always said that, like, as I said, coming out of college, one of the biggest things that I learned, like when I went to Holy Cross, we were Division I AA. I think we were at the end, like number 4 team in the country, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. But one of the things I realized that I felt like I had the knowledge and potentially the ability to play there, but I didn't have the strength or the size. Mm-hmm. And I think it went back to the fact that I didn't really understand that coming out of Abington at the time, because we really didn't have a lifting program. It wasn't a huge focus for us. So, when I came back, that's one of the things that I wanted to make a focus so that the kids that, did want to go on to college would understand that this has to be a priority for you. Yep. And, and I've been basically doing that for, 25 years now, and I've had a lot of help, don't get me wrong. First with one of my good friends, Buddy Fallon, who played high school football with me. Like we would be up to the high school gym. We actually put it together ourselves, and we were up there, probably 6-7 nights a week. And then over the years, all the other coaches have also bought in, and we've had a bunch of help with it. So.
Wow. That's right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. So my next question, Coach, you were the OC, correct?
Yes.
So now you lose a good OC because you have to wear the other hat. Are you still going to wear the OC hat, the offensive coordinator hat? Or do you have someone else coming in?
I still will be. But, I mean, we it goes to our staff, too. And, like, I don't even like to, yes, I'll be calling the plays. But I really do feel like we're a true staff. Like, I don't consider it my offense. I mean, Coach Daly's been, technically calling the defense for a long time. I don't consider it his defense. I consider it our staff's defense. We really do a good job working together, putting in our game plan together. We take each other's ideas and things like that. I mean, the one big difference now will obviously be is, yes, I'll have final say, but I do think I have a good relationship with all the assistant coaches that, they can say what they want to me, and they're not going to hurt my feelings, and we can have an adult conversations about certain things.
So before we let you go, let's go over that coaching staff so everyone knows who give them some good kudos so you don't hear any slack when you have your next coaches meeting.
Yeah. Well, so obviously nothing's official because we don't get appointed until the late spring. But yep. Coach Jim Daly's been with us. Actually, he was there longer than I have been. Coach Scott Pfeiffer, who does our great line coach for us, both offense, defense. He's a teacher in Quincy and lives in Abington. And he's from Ohio, actually. Played football out in Ohio and played college football out there as well. And then we have Coach Bella Kabongo and Kalonji Kabongo, who are freshman coaches who have been there for a long time with us, over 10 years, played for us. And then we also have Dave Lyons, who played at Plymouth State, probably about 25, 26, but he's going on 15. He's this great kid, great with the kids. He's that that motivational pump up guy that we need. And then we were lucky enough to get Coach Mike Bruning and Jay Brown, who were with us for a while, and then they went over to coach at Weymouth for a few years. And then luckily they came back to us last year, and they've been huge additions to us as well. So, I'm very, very lucky that, I'm hoping that they all, and I'm pretty sure we're all coming back, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because I certainly know that one of the hardest jobs for a head coach is putting a staff together. And I think I'll have literally one of the best ones around. So
awesome. And you're playing a very tough South Shore League, especially when it comes to high school football.
Yeah, every year, there's teams that are battling, whether it was, in the small Carver this year, lost in the finals. I mean, Norwell was the number 1 seed this year. Rockland is always tough. Middleborough is, a big school, always a very good program over there. And then, East Bridgewater and good athletes. And then Sandwich came into our league last year. It was just, just a different style of team. They play that double wing stuff, and they upset a couple teams. They're going to be a team to watch over these next few years. And then, you got Cohasset, who's always, a great program, and some others too. I don't want to leave anyone out, but I mean, you got, Hull, who does everything well with their, small group, and Mashpee is always into it well. Matt Treveri does a great job down there too. So I'm sure I'm missing a little something.
That's all right, Coach. We'll send all the hate emails to you, we promise. So
I already get them, so not a big deal.
Right? Oh yeah.
I already get some of them. So
He's got a whole inbox filled.
Yeah, you got an inbox full. You were right to spam.
Yeah.
So, how are we doing for numbers this year? How many seniors did we lose last year, and how many seniors did we lose, and how many spots are you thinking that we need to fill? Special teams, offense, defense, that type of deal.
Sure. I believe we lost 14 seniors, which it was a really good class for us. They, just good-sized kids, tough kids, and great kids. They're all, good student athletes. So there's going to be a lot of spots open, especially on the offensive line. We're losing, 3 or 4 really good linemen for us. We're losing our big tight end, Connor Pease, who was really a dominant player for us. He was a 4-year starter for us. A couple of really good backs, and A.J. Nash, Will LeBlanc, and Ryan Simonetti. So we're certainly losing a lot of talented, good kids. But we're really happy about what we got coming back too. We do have some experience. We have been playing a lot of young kids over the last couple of years as well. We're excited about our freshman class. They had a really good freshman team this year. So I'm excited, for next year and for the years to come.
Well, Coach, I know all of us here at 4 Deep Sports Talk want to wish you the best, and you'll probably see us around the ball field. I might walk up to you with a phone, try to get a big Twitter interview on me, maybe some of the other guys. And again, we just want to wish you the best. I'm glad we touched base. I also want to thank the AD. We try to cover as much as we can with Abington and all the other surrounding towns. There's a lot of towns that cover in the South Shore. A lot of great schools that cover in the South Shore.
Yes, there are, for sure. But we really appreciate what you guys do, too. So, and thank you, all the guys in the studio and girls in the studio. And
thank you very much.
Thank you guys for all you do, and all great questions today, too. It was a lot of fun to have this interview. And I remember saying to you the other day, I'm like, I'm not that interesting. I don't know if you need an hour with me. 10 minutes might be plenty. But
right.
It was good conversation with all you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I was telling the guys, I said, he hasn't met me yet. I got a big mouth. I can, once I get set, once I keep it going, I'm the fan for that hour of that program. And, just ask normal, like if we would listen, my mindset, I'm doing this since 2001. And you just got to think about, you're that fan, what do you want to know about it's just the stuff, again, like some people might not know. Ed Riley, well, they'll know him now.
We got it covered.
We got it covered. All right, Coach, best of luck, and we'll see you in the football field.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. All right, that was head coach Ed Riley. I got it right, I didn't say Kelleher.
Yeah, right. He's off the phone now. So
right, and I want to thank that great TikTok caller calling in saying what a great show we had going on, which was me. Oh, my God. How we doing for viewers? How we doing?
22 viewers so far.
All right, so they'll go back. Well, that's not bad. I mean, better than 0.
I thought you were saying it's just you, Dom.
2 people watching.
2 people watching, everyone else like jumping around.
Yeah.
How we doing for time, young man? Okay.
A minute. We can go early if you want, but.
But what a nice guy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
He gave a lot of good answers. It was very.
He's
very helpful.
He's got some big shoes to fill over at I don't need the headphones. It's only calling. Over at Abington High School. Abington, another team you always seen. I think I was trying, as you saw, I was trying to be. I don't know if you caught that, Maddie. I tried to be politically correct. I'd want to say you guys stunk and you lost to a 15 seed. I was just curious as a fan. Did you hurt? First thing you think about, right?
Yeah.
Was it we hurt? Who were you missing?
No, it's the wording. You have to
exactly. Because you don't want to be that jerk that says come across the wrong way.
Yeah.
And
Because, I mean, he knows. So,
Yeah, oh yeah. Big shout out to On Assignment, and I forgot to say this earlier. Luce Cabral, she is covering, I think she's covering something for Forever TV. So she,
I believe so.
or Swansea, or Seekonk,
Any one of them.
or Bristol Community.
She's everywhere.
She really is.
Or all of those places for all we know.
Right, and then in
Maybe
the
she has
summertime she
clone.
gets hot with a wedding. She gets hot filming weddings. So want to make sure that's
Really
why
busy.
you don't hear Lucy's voice today. If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. We're about to wrap up this third quarter here, if you will, in this hour, and then we're going to go into the scores. We're going to take our time, let you know what we have for results. Next week, we'll have the Fairhaven Blue Devils, Super Bowl VI champions, and we're ready. Correct?
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll go. We get a couple seconds.
Yeah, just ran out literally perfect as you ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
But, you know.
All right, so
close
here
up
we go. We'll be back with more right after this.
And we are back here on WARA 1320 AM. You're listening to 40 Sports Talk here. Justin Ferrer, Sports Master. Dominic Damiano over there in the 3 seat this time. Yeah, different.
Yep.
Casey Paparazzi here today. And Matt Clayman on the board.
That's right, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luce Cabral, like you mentioned earlier, she is on assignment,
Yes.
and that girl could be anywhere. She's not only she the paparazzi, but she does video graphics, video stuff. 3 other access times. I think she actually mentioned more in the college over at Bristol Community College. So we're going to give a shout out to her because we miss her, and we'll see her next week when the Fairhaven Blue Devils come in. But with that being said, let me know when you're ready, and I'll run out the boys' scores.
Weren't they supposed to be on like that other time? Or did
They were.
cancel?
Kids got sick.
Oh no.
Yeah, kids got sick.
It happens.
It does.
All right, we can go into scores now. If you
All right.
want to
I
start
was
off.
I wasn't here for that day either.
No. All right, so here we go. In boys basketball, Bay State Conference, Worcester North over Newton North, 55-31. Braintree over Wellesley, 57-43. Foxborough over Milton, 51-35. Cape and Islands Conference, Bourne over Nantucket, 91-67. Martha's Vineyard over Nauset. That's actually a rematch because Nauset beat them in Nauset last time. But Martha's Vineyard catches that game 60-45. Falmouth beats Cape Cod Academy 65-40. And Falmouth Academy beats Rising Tide Charter 59-21. Catholic Central, Archbishop Williams beats Arlington Catholic 65-26. And that's a conference that really moves around the state as far as how far teams away. All right, continue on. St. Mary's Lynn, they beat Bishop Fenwick 79-56. Mystic Valley beats Cristo Rey 65-34. Cardinal Spellman beats Bishop Stang 71-66. Only game we got in the Hockomock. Foxborough over Milton 51-35. Didn't Taunton play Friday? I thought they did.
Yes.
I know it's on the TikTok.
They played a
page.
game the other day against Attleboro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm thinking of that. Martha's Vineyard and Hull and Avon. Mayflower Conference, they'll tip off at 5:30 in Avon. Seekonk over Westport 60-50. Blue Hills over Upper Cape 87-54. Old Colony over South Shore Votech 64-39. And then Munns Academy, no idea what that is, over Norfolk Aggie 90-68. Continue on to Patriot League, In boys basketball, Pembroke over Silver Lake 72-63. Marshfield, I keep on thinking Martha's Vineyard. Marshfield over North Quincy, 63-53. Situate over Duxbury, 57-45. Whitman Hanson over Plymouth South, 53-37. Plymouth North over Quincy, 59-52. South Coast League, sorry. Old Rochester, they beat Fairhaven, 69-55. Seekonk over Westport, 60-50. Bourne over Nantucket. I might have said this earlier. I apologize. 91-67. I slipped one went through the vines, through the grapevines. I forgot to mark off.
Okay, it happens.
Right? Dighton Rehoboth over West Bridgewater, 65-49. South Shore League, Weymouth over Abington, 82-66. Mashpee over Carver, 63-64. Well, that's a good game. Same thing with this game. East Bridgewater over Randolph, 57-55. Norwell over Middleborough, 62-42. Sandwich over Rockland, 51-50. Another great game. Southeast Conference, a game I had the chance to cover for Brockton Community Access TV. Brockton over Bridgewater Raynham, 58-45. Dartmouth over Durfee, 77-71. Going down Tri-Valley. Westwood over Dedham, 65-35. Norwood over Bellingham, 69-45. Dover Sherborne over Holliston, 66-51. Hopkinton over Medway, 72-56. And Medfield over Millis, 53-51. And then the man, the myth, the legend will finish it up with the girls' basketball results.
Here we go. Girls basketball starting off with the Cape and Islands. New Bedford beats Barnstable 61-52. Falmouth over Cape Cod Academy 46-15. Nauset beats Martha's Vineyard 44-30. Monomoy over Sturgis East 63-8. There's that one.
Yikes.
Yeah, 8 points. Catholic Central, Bishop Fian over Cathedral 52-32. Arlington Catholic over Archbishop Williams 52-37. Cardinal Spellman beats Bishop Stang 44-32. Continuing on in the Mayflower, Westport over Seekonk 48-33. Patriot, North Quincy over Marshfield 59-27. Whitman Henson over Plymouth South 69-23. Plymouth North over Quincy 44-42. Duxbury over Situate 57-34. South Coast here, Greater New Bedford over Sturgis West 61-24. Somerset Berkeley over Mount Hope, Rhode Island. South Shore, we have Sandwich over Rockland 51-26. Continuing on, Abington over Hull 66-38. Norwell over Middleborough 62-48. Carver beats Mashpee 71-43. Bridgewater Raynham, Bridgewater comes on top. Bridgewater Raynham beats Brockton, Bridgewater comes on top 46-25. Dartmouth over Durfee 33-24. In the Tri-Valley, Medfield over Millis 59-24. Norwood over Bellingham 45-30. Westwood over Dedham 54-41. Norton over Ashland 75-53. Closing up here, Dover Sherborne over Holliston 58-29. And Medway over Hopkinton 51-36.
Nicely done. Nicely
And we're
done.
done.
Did our viewers go up on TikTok at all?
Nope.
No, that didn't do it.
24 views.
24. Yeah, it went up too. That's
There we
you go. Yeah. As soon as they heard Matt reading the scores, they were on that stuff. Okay, that's what it was.
Can't help it.
All right, so we have. So we got Fairhaven coming up.
Want to tell them the
Tell them
next
what
broadcast
the next broadcast.
for the ice hockey?
Oh, that's right. Our next broadcast of ice hockey. Thank you. He's so smart. Most of the crew will be there. He, unfortunately, I wish the sports master, but he, right now he can't get a ride. But it is what it is. We'll get the sports master wrapped in again somehow. We'll think of something. So Matt Clayman, myself, Catherine Conley, we will be giving you the MLK, the Martin Luther King tournament, MLK. I almost said milk, but I caught myself. And we will be there. Drop the puck at 1, and we'll be there. They're taking on Medways. And then there's another game the following Monday. I don't know who the consolation or the championship game is. We won't know till it's over. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But we'll be there. We'll tip off. We'll start to do pregame right around 12:30. We'll go live and we'll kick in the audio about 12:45. Matt and I and of course the myth, the legend, aka Catherine Conley, paparazzi. Media consultant, I think, is the next name she wanted, right?
Ooh, that'd be
Media
good.
consultant.
Sounds official.
What a heck of a resume. And she'll be with us as well. Should be a fun time. It's fun to do. I like to do hockey, and at the same time, you get to learn a little
It's
bit
fun.
more, right?
Yeah.
Learn research, blend in, have fun with it and stuff like that. So they seem like they like the broadcast over there, so that's fun. And then
It's a good sign.
Then this summer, we're hoping to get a lot more baseball with Attleboro Rec Championship and all that, and we can bring all the equipment down, and hopefully we can do some nice live radio podcast.
Ooh.
From the baseball field slash radio. If you're in there, you can hear the game. If not, you can hear it on the WARA podcast, which is connected to our website.
There you
That's
go.
a big thanks to Jim Jones and Jeff Fowler, who helps us out from Bridgewater Access TV and all the Access Towns. Ooh, and another good note. So we just picked up 4 more Access Towns, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
So,
Boom.
and these people are they're looking for, and this is going to be one of the ones they'll be able to grab on Telview Connect, the national website. We just picked up 4 towns on the North Shore that were looking for content. So we picked up Beverly, Danvers, Peabody, and Winthrop. So that's pretty cool. So we're looking forward to get them that stuff up there and give them a show. And again, big thanks to Ed Riley for sending me over the pictures and all that stuff. We'll blend those into the broadcast. That's going to be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, how many towns are we up to now? How many towns are we covering?
27. But if you think about it, so hypothetically, Carver, you have Plainville. Which is another? There's 2 more small towns in there. I think one's Kingston, and the other one's Halifax. Yep, Halifax. So you have 3. New Bedford, you have Acushnet, so there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the North Shore team. North Shore teams how they go. Plymouth covers Silver Lake, I believe Silver Lake, Kingston, and Duxbury. So there's a lot of towns that are using their other access. So there's a lot more. So that's pretty cool.
I know.
And then they play them when they play them. It's content for them, and it's good material. It's all positive. It's not negative. So that's a lot of fun, and you guys make it work. I just sit here and try not to embarrass myself. So
Did a good job.
So we're good on time. Ready to go?
We're good for time.
Huh?
We're good for time.
We're good for time. What's the grade number say?
12:59.
All right, so we got to get going.
I think so.
All right, so you get the music fired up for Matt Klayman on the board, doing a great job from Taunton High School. Paparazzi media consultant herself, Catherine Conley, a.k.a. KC. The Sportsmaster, Justin Ferreira. I'm Dominic Damiano. Luce Cabral will be with us next weekend. We will catch you next week, and everyone have a fantastic weekend. Perfect. So hit the mics.
I think that might have just cut off like right at the end.